Good morning, students. Today we'll be starting with the new chapter of macroeconomics. The name of the chapter is Some Basic Concepts of Macroeconomics. Okay, so now what topics we are going to cover in this chapter? Number one, macroeconomics, meaning its scope. Then we'll be covering micro macro paradox, then difference between micro and macroeconomics, and at last we'll be covering up interdependence between micro and macroeconomics. The second topic that we'll be covering is types of goods, final versus intermediate goods, consumer versus capital goods. Third, we'll be covering concept of investment, gross investment, net investment, etc. Fourth, we'll be covering stock and flow concept, and at last, we'll be covering intersectoral flows or circular flow of income. So, let's start with the first topic today, which is meaning of macroeconomics, scope of macroeconomics. Okay. So, what is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is a branch of economics which studies economic problems at the level of economy as a whole. In 11th standard, what we have covered? We have covered microeconomics. Okay, so microeconomics, as we all know, it was related to one individual unit, related to one individual consumer, one individual market, one individual producer. Whereas macroeconomics is the study of economy as a whole. ठीक है, study of aggregates. Macroeconomics is also study of aggregates. What aggregates are covered? Aggregate demand. Aggregate demand means the demand at the level of economy as a whole. Aggregate supply, supply of goods, supply of all goods and services at the level of economy as a whole. National income. What is national income? The income of the whole country. Okay. Now the next question is scope of macroeconomics. Okay, scope means the area of study. What areas do we study in macroeconomics? Okay, so the first area that we study in macroeconomics is money and its functions. We have already completed this chapter, meaning of money, functions of money, we have done. Okay, next is central bank or commercial banks and its function. Again, we have covered this full chapter. Okay, banking we have covered, lender of last resort we have done, bankers bank, yes, we have done. Third is theories of economic growth such as monetary policy, fiscal policy. Monetary policy we have done, fiscal policy we have again done. Okay, monetary policy में क्या क्या आ जाता था? CRR, SLR, बैंक रेट, ठीक है, moral persuasion, quantitative qualitative instruments were covered in the monetary policy. Okay, next, fourth, we'll be covering national income. The fourth scope of macroeconomics is national income or domestic income and various aggregates. We'll be covering this chapter later on. It's a separate chapter. Okay, so what does national income means? National income means the income which is earned within the domestic boundaries of a country, plus it is earned from some other countries as well. Okay, and what is domestic income? Domestic income is the income which is earned in the boundaries of any country. Okay, within the boundaries of any country, right? Next scope of macroeconomics is aggregate demand, aggregate supply and its components. Aggregate demand is the demand at the level of economy as a whole, and similarly aggregate supply is the supply of all goods and services at the level of economy as a whole. Sixth one is theory of general price level. Now, how is price controlled? Okay, how is inflation controlled? How is deflation controlled? It's also a matter of your macroeconomics. Next, last one, balance of payment and foreign exchange rate. First of all, what is balance of payment? Okay, what is balance of payment? It's an account of export and import of goods and services, okay, between your country and rest of the world. We'll be doing this chapter later on, but just to give you an overview, what is balance of payment? It's an account of import and export of goods and services between domestic country and rest of the world. Okay, next is foreign exchange rate. What is foreign exchange rate? The number of units for which the currency of one country is exchanged for the currency of some other country. let's say $1 is equal to rupees 76. So you have to give 76 units of Indian currency to get 1 unit of a dollar. It's a foreign exchange rate. The number of units you have to exchange for getting 1 unit of foreign currency is the foreign exchange rate. Okay, so that's all with the scope of your macroeconomics. Now let's move on further. So what topics we are going to cover? We have covered macroeconomics, its meaning and scope we have covered. Now we'll be covering difference between micro and macroeconomics. I'll be covering this first, then we'll be taking over to the next two topics of this. Okay, difference between micro macro I'm going to cover now. Okay, difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. The first one being meaning. What is the meaning of macroeconomics? It is that branch of economics which deals with the individual unit. What do you mean by individual unit? One consumer. It deals with one consumer, one producer, one market. Okay, it deals with a single individual unit. Now what does macroeconomics means? Okay, that branch of economics which deals with the economy as a whole. Okay, economy as a whole, it talks about the entire population. Okay, it talks about the entire population. Next, what are the instruments of microeconomics? Demand and supply, individual demand and individual supply. Okay, and what are the instruments of macroeconomics? Aggregate demand, aggregate supply. What is aggregate demand? The demand at the level of the whole economy. Okay, and what is aggregate supply? The supply of all goods and services at the level of economy as a whole. Okay, now what is the focus of microeconomics? It is optimum allocation of resources. Okay, optimum, the best possible. Okay, optimum means the best possible use of resources, the best possible allocation of resources. And what is the main focus of your macroeconomics? It is full employment of resources. So understand the difference between this. This is best possible use and it is full employment. Okay, full use of resources. Next, the other name of microeconomics is price theory. Okay, and the other name of macroeconomics is income output employment theory. Next, how is equilibrium established in case of microeconomics? Okay, it explains the condition of partial equilibrium. And macroeconomics, it explains the conditions of general equilibrium. Understand the difference between two. What do you mean by partial equilibrium? What is partial equilibrium? Partial equilibrium is the situation where individual demand is equal to individual supply, as we have done in chapter 11 of microeconomics. We have done this chapter. Okay, क्या होता था उसमें? There's individual demand, there's individual supply curve, wherever they intersect. Okay, wherever they intersect, that is the point of equilibrium. It's a partial equilibrium because I am considering the demand of a single person and supply of a single individual supplier. Okay, so that is why it's a partial equilibrium. Whereas in case of macroeconomics, it explains the general equilibrium. General equilibrium means equilibrium at the level of whole economy. Okay, and what two variables we'll be talking about here? Aggregate demand and aggregate supply. What two variables do we talk in microeconomics? Individual demand, individual supply, as we have done in 11th standard. Okay, now moving on to the next. What are the examples of microeconomics? Per capita income. Per capita means the income of a single person. Okay, a firm, an industry, a single individual consumer, producer, supplier. They are all examples of your microeconomics. And what are the examples of your macroeconomics? National income, employment, aggregate demand, aggregate supply. These are the examples of your macroeconomics. Okay, that's all for today. We'll be covering the next two topics tomorrow.